everybody to the Greater St. Louis Huddersfield meeting. I don't want to put this on my head because we keep passing it around, so hopefully you guys can hear in the back. I want to welcome everybody and those that are watching later on our live, it's a live stream meeting this time. It's going to be taped, so you can see it on the YouTube channel at a future date. It'll probably be posted later today. But I just wanted to wish everybody happy holidays before I forget. And thank you all for coming today. I'm going to start with some member news. I have some sad news. Sandra Humberg's husband, Chris, passed away on Thanksgiving Day, and they had the service, I think it was a week or so ago. And another sad news, Nancy Quaid fell and broke her knee. So that's not good. So I'm not sure, as far as the local yarn shop news and Myers House, I'm not sure. They've only got some cone yarn left and some knitting machines and 40% off on needles. So that's it, but I don't know if I'm sure Nancy's not available.
Speaking of Nancy, I got a text from our Tuesday knit group thing, and Nancy's trying to decide when to close, wondering if our Tuesday group is still going to meet up there the next Tuesdays. So she may close before the end of the year. I can't assume too much, but I think she's looking for it.
There's not much left. You might want to just give her a call if you're thinking about going to Myers House. The other local yarn shop news, check on the holiday hours with the yarn shops, because some of them are doing extended hours. I know Seven Sisters is, I don't have their time. But I have some good news, and I hate to have all the bad news. Good news is YarnCom is going to be having their grand opening in their 3-4 location January 18th through the 22nd. The last day at her pop-up location at the Chesterfield Mall is going to be Monday, December 26th. Even though it's the day after Christmas, and they're usually not open on Mondays, that will be their last day that they're open at that location. So you can do your after Christmas shopping for that. And she also let me know that Thursday, January 12th, there's going to be a Guild member event. So it's for Guild members only on Thursday night from 4 to 7. And we're invited to come and knit and check out our new shop and do a little bit of pre-shopping with what they've got. And there'll be refreshments. So, 4 to 7 on Thursday, January 12th. So it's before the grand opening. So we'll get a chance to check it out before the grand opening. So, but it's for members, Guild members only, and it'll be like an open house, so you don't have to stay the whole time. But I thought that was nice and generous of Heather.
What are the hours?
4 till 7, 4 p.m. to 7. We'll put it in the newsletter, and we'll put it on Ravelry. So if you don't get it, but it'll be before our next. I don't know, is it before our next meeting? I'm not sure. Membership, if anybody needs to renew, or if they are guests and they want to join, Beth Friedman over at the hospitality table can help you with that. And also she has membership cards and name badges if you don't have the current one and you need that, or if you ordered a name badge, she'll have that for you too. So be sure to pick that up. The Guild has a library this weekend. I have a list of all the books, and I'll put it over on the hospitality table if you guys want to go through it and see if there's a book you'd like. Write your name next to the where it says requested by. I'll bring that to the next meeting, or you can arrange to get it to you, and you can borrow that book. And one of the books that we have is the book that we're going to be working with today on our cast on the bind up, so that'll be a book that might be in demand. But please take advantage of the library. We did get rid of a lot of the books that are recent restash because they were out of date, not really being used. So we saved some of the sock books, lace books, stitch books. There's the information is also on the website. So if you go under the members area, under odds and ends, there's a list of books that you can borrow. So please check that out. Get our library rolling again. Let's see. I forgot to ask, does anybody else have any member news that is not confidential that they would like to share? Okay. I don't think I have any other yarn shop news. That's all the announcements that I have. So we will go on to the business portion of our meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes from the November 12th meeting that were in the December newsletter? If not, do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I motion.
Mary Dale Bannister makes the motion, and Alice Kemner seconds. So the minutes are approved. Treasurer's report. Are there any questions on the October treasurer's report that was published in the December newsletter? If not, they will be submitted for audit. And we will be doing the audit of the 2022 year. It goes from January to December. That's the Guild's fiscal year. And Judy Roach has agreed to be the auditor for the books for this past year. So thank you, Judy. Other reports were admin VP, Eileen or Joni? Nothing to report?
It's so simple, I'll just stand here, no report today.
Thank you.
Members to report.
Beth, did we have any new members this month?
Not that
Today.
Today.
I found the organization online today,
And I'm glad you're
it's $15.
Did you send it for PayPal?
I did.
I got it about 11 o'clock.
And what is your name?
It's Margie.
Margie, welcome.
Did you sign in, Margie?
I didn't.
Oh,
no.
Run over here and
sign in.
Okay, you need to.
You might have a prize. Or walk over here.
She might get a prize.
always gives right here. Okay, well, they're conducting their new member business over there. Communications, Mary Dale Minister.
Hello. I don't really need the microphone, I can make it that loud. So we had an article go out, or an email go out that indicated if you want to opt out of appearing in social media, that you just fill out this little survey thing. And there were some questions, what does opt out mean? Opt out means that you don't want your picture or your name appearing on Facebook or Instagram or Ravelry or one of our other social media outlets. We will still use recordings that we make here, because we record our meetings. Those will still go on YouTube. So if you don't want to be on YouTube, just kind of sit quietly in your corner. Because there's no way we could go through and edit the video to edit out every single person that maybe didn't want to be in it. So if you really don't want to show up in the video either, that you have to do on your own. But that's all it means, and if you need some help, we can help you point you to the survey. Susan, you want to?
Yeah, just one thing that on Ravelry, Facebook, we never put names on it, it's just pictures. But in the newsletter, that just goes out to members, and names would be included in that. So if you had something for show and share, the pictures in the newsletter, your name's going to be attached to that. But on the social media sites, we never put names. But if you don't want your picture out there either, totally opt out if you want. Yes,
Good
ma'am.
question.
So does opting out just get you on social media, but you're still on the guild sites?
Correct, yes. The opt-out is strictly for photos. We would not, so for example, if you were standing up there with Mary and we took a picture of the two of you, but you had opted out, that picture's not going on the website. It's not going on Ravelry or anything like that. But you're still a member, you still have access to the
Not
member
on the
areas.
public, not on the public part of the website. It would
Right, not on the
still-
public
still-
part, right.
If we're egomaniacs, could we opt in extra?
You can, but you don't have a survey for that. For that, you just get up and dance around during the meeting a lot and send lots of posts. You can also post yourself
there you go.
on our Facebook site or on our Instagram site or on Ravelry. You are welcome to do that at any time if you want to be an overachiever in this endeavor. Anybody have any other questions about, I feel like there was something else I was going to talk about, now I can't remember what it was, so. Any questions anybody has about communication stuff? No? Everybody's good? Good. Who's next?
Pam,
Pam?
do you want to introduce Pam?
This is Pam, our community service lady.
Hi, Pam.
what she said. Okay, we have, up to this time, we have at least 1,450 hats, and we have at least 60 hats additional on the back table. So anybody want to add? We've broken the 1,500. Am I making, is it, can you hear me? Is the question? Okay, good. And there's some beautiful hats and also some interesting, like other types of things like shawls and cowls and some slippers and maybe a pair of mitts and I don't, they're just interesting things, so make sure you look back there. There's also some wonderful charity yarn for knitting, and there's some cotton linen blends, so there's interesting yarn back there too. And if anybody is lacking straight needles, you know, there's on the next one of the tables there are lots and lots of straight needles. There's one set of 3 double points. I can use 3 double points to make a hat. Okay, so I just want you to know that. But you don't need 4 or 5. You just need 3. And there's one set that's all there is. So
Actually, you can do it on 2 needles. You don't need 3. You just knit one, skip one.
well, yeah, but I'm a production unit. You know, I like to go fast.
Okay.
Anyway, what else? Oh, there's some books and some magazines and some patterns. Anybody that would want them, and there is some small waffle jar opener type things for interchangeable needles, but they have other uses, so they're sitting there. Anybody that would like some, please take them. Normally there's a podium around here, and I use the podium extensively, but these are some of these beautiful hats, and this is just an interesting slip stitch pattern with nice yarn that's you know, just plain ordinary Knitter's Guild work, but it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. This is a yarn stretcher type. You use scraps and you wind up with a very interesting, very comfortable and warm hat. This is just a houndstooth check that, you know, it's just it's not as hard as it looks, and it's beautiful. Let the yarn do the work. Isn't that neat? It looks so complicated. All it is, I'm betting, now maybe I'm wrong, but I think the yarn is working very, very nicely in this pattern. And then we have some variegated, some self-stripers back there. There are the cowls. Now this came from Illinois, from a gracious friend who is a crocheter. But she also makes some knitted hats too. But it is such a beautiful color. It's a cowl, and it's just lovely. And she is also a knitter, and so this is another hard-working yarn with a very, very simple rhythmic pattern. And it's a cowl, but it's one of these infinities, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous thing. So, any questions? Please take yarn. Please take needles. Everything finds a home. Thank you. Let's see.
Who's next?
Who is our next person?
Susan.
Education.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Susan Rosbach, one of the education VPs with New Webster. Today, our program is going to be on cast-ons and bind-offs, so we have a presentation on that. And as part of that, there's a contest. So up here, May has put together some examples, and they're all numbered, and so you can guess what the cast-on is, what the bind-off is. And the person who guesses the most correctly will get a lovely prize. So if you have time during the break, come take a look. I think the numbers are on the agenda, right? Is that? So if you grab an agenda at the bottom of that, there's the little form, and you just guess which cast on bind off is attached to which sample, and you can memorize it. So make sure you have time to do that. And then, so this is December. In January, our program is going to be on sweater construction. I've never made a sweater. I would love to make a sweater, but I'm not making a big one, so we're going to start with baby sweaters. Little ones. So if you have made a sweater, which I'm sure a lot of people have, and Margie, is that she's making a really nice sweater right there. So yeah. So if you have made a sweater, please bring it. So as an example, don't wear it. We'd like people to take a look at it. See the construction, the seams, all that kind of stuff. So bring examples. But we are going to start with baby sweaters. That's going to be the program. The different types, construction, and I'm going to put that program together and make my first sweater, so we'll see how it goes. It could be a lot of don't do this, don't do that, but we'll see. And then in February, we're going to have a baby sweater knit along. So with the information that we gained from our January meeting, we're going to have a baby sweater knit along in February. So if you have a favorite baby sweater pattern, something you'd like to share, let us know. May, you want to add anything, or we good? Okay. All right. Any questions about the programs coming up? Awesome. All right. We have Miss Tony. She's going to give us that.
I got a big voice. They had on Facebook who got marked down on their report card for talking too much in class. I want to thank everybody for the cards and support given me after the death of my husband. I don't think I have anything else funny to say, sorry. Oops. We have one guest, Andy. Okay, Andy. We encourage you to join because we have lovely prizes. And you'll see they're lovely this time, provided by Yarncom and Carol Kuhn. So today we have 38 members. So on to the good part, right? Now if you've won before, we ask you not to take the prize and pick a number. Let's see, so I have Alice Kemner.
I've won before,
Okay, give me a number.
13.
Okay. Susan Rossbach.
I won before 4. 4.
Adrian Bemmer. Have you won before? Well, come on up. Okay, let's try. Sarah Heffernan. Have you won before? No. Oh, come on up. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. Diane Wolf.
I never win.
What? Give me a number.
She wins.
7. Kate Gray. Give me a number.
21.
Okay. Harriet Crecelius.
Not in years, is that okay?
Come on up. And I need you to give me a number.
19.
Okay. Melinda.
Oh, Melinda's not here, I just signed her in.
Okay. All right, then Judy, you got to give me a number.
15.
Okay. Sarah Feiberger.
I won last time.
Okay.
How about?
What about our new girl? Can we just automatically grant to the new girl?
Yeah.
Not a problem for me. There you go. You're welcome. That's it for me. How many? 38.
The front, I guess I need the microphone. That's okay. Before the program starts, which will be after the break, they'll announce what the prize is for winning. But we're going to do show and share before we take a break, and then we'll give you a chance to come up and check the samples out and create your answers. So. Lee, our photographer, wasn't able to make it today, so if you've got something for show and share, I'll take a picture, and I'll try to do the best I can. So just after you've shown it, just come over to the side and I'll take a picture of you doing your project. I know Alice has something. Anybody else can just start lining up on the side of the room.
I've got a show and share, can you make sure?
What time?
We don't usually have to move it much, just turn or.
Am I the only one?
No.
No, I'm coming.
Oh, good. All right, I am wearing the Cane, C-A-I-N-E. And it's out of DK Wade. This is a merino cashmere nylon blend. And the beauty part of this is Melissa, who did our bead presentation a couple months ago, the air traffic controller, she dyed this yarn for me just giving her an idea on colors. Wow. And layered it and put it together.
Tell her the name of the colorway.
Well, she named it after me. Talk about exclusive. Yeah. So, and then I finished the Perfectionist Trap, which doesn't go well with this shirt to speak of. I'm on a teal kick, can you tell? But anyway, I bought a kit when I was at DFW Fiber Fest. And this is two things of DK Weight. And it's from Goose, Silly Goose Yarn. She's out of Minnesota. Anyway, lovely lady. It's 100% superwash merino. So, that's it.
Okay, this big boy, and I use that word, I didn't know it was going to end up being this big. Chunky Cardi is the name of the yarn, and it's a Premier Chunky Cotton. And it's selling much fast. As soon as I was knitting it, it was balling up. But I still kind of like it because it's cuddly. I'd like to show you one thing though. You're not actually supposed to use a pin. If anybody uses these pins, and my pin kept falling out, I went to my local hardware store and got a little tiny stopper. So now I don't lose a pin every 2 minutes. So anyway, there you go. Do you want one of those? Thank you.
I bought this yarn when I was actually at the Myers house looking to buy yarn for another project, but I really liked it. And so I bought this too, which meant I had to go on Ravelry and figure out what I was going to make with it. And as all of you who use Ravelry know, when you put in all your information about the yarn, you get about 5,862 patterns. And I looked at that and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. And I handed the computer to my husband in disgust. And he starts going through, and he picked this one. Is he good or what? So now I always give him the computer when I pick one out because he knows what he's doing, okay? This was called Rochambeau. It's by Karina Spencer. The yarn is Malabrigo sock yarn, just simple sock yarn. It's in color cereza, which I think, I don't know, that's not read in Spanish. I don't know what it means. And here's the cool part, because I often, when I do the Ravelry thing, I often end up playing yarn chicken with the end because I want to use it all up. This used 0.82 of the skein. So if anybody knows what to do with like 20 grams of sock yarn.
Our mini skeins.
Yeah. It's a mini skein.
Right there.
I've got a project, I've got one tiny bit of a project right there, but anyway. So, and I like the back. Beautiful.
All right, so this is a throwback by Andrea Mowry.
She also has a pullover version, I think it's called the Throw Over. The yarn is Lion Brand's Fisherman Wool. It is kind of toothy, but it did soften up when I washed it. And then the color work is called Stitch Please. And then I followed everything to pattern except for I did repeat the color work around the sleeves.
Do we have any more? Anybody else? That's all.
If that's it, we'll take a break for about 15 minutes and then check out the samples, and then we will have the program.
Number 1 is the Chinese waitress. Did anybody get that right? Okay. Number 2 is the long tail. All right, everybody get that one right? Number 2 is the long tail. All right, number 3. 3 is the rib.
1 by 1 rib?
It just says rib. 1 by 1 rib, 1 by 1. Okay. 4 is the long tail cable or German twisted. We're at 5. Knitted cable or cable. Okay. 6 is, find it, knitted. The 6 is the knitted cast on. 7 is the E-wrap or backwards loop. And 8 is the tubular. Totally tubular. You guys remember that from
That's the one that's not on the list.
What? It's not on the
That's
list?
the one that's not on the list.
Oh, it's not? It's right here.
No,
Tubular.
it's on their list. not
Oh, it's on
yours.
their list. Okay, tubular. Okay, so that was 1 through. Anybody want me to repeat any of those? You double check. Okay. How many? Did anybody get all of them? 7? 6? 5? 4? 3? Okay, we have 2 people that got 3. Did you get 3?
I got 3.
And you got 3.
And I got
Do we have 2 prizes, May, or we have 1 prize?
You know what, I don't need a prize, I can just win them all.
Are you sure?
You can try, there's things inside you can give out separately.
All right. Well, how about we, oh, there's some other examples up here too. I'm sorry I forgot to get these out, but there's other examples up here of a knitted rib, picot, cast on and bind off, Latvian long tail, and long tail rib. So there's other examples, and so there's stuff. You sure you don't want any? Well, you are the luckiest new member ever. I'm impressed. You are the luckiest person. So please tell your friends to join, but I'm sure it's not going to happen for everybody. Like, not everybody's going to get 2 prizes. So just keep that in mind. All right. And thanks to May for knitting up all of those examples. She took the time to do that, so thank you.
It's coming on. And we should flip off one light,
Oh, yeah.
the front light maybe.
There's only one to take a back or not.
Okay.
Can you guys see it okay if we leave the lights on? Yeah. Okay. Great, well, my name is Susan Rossbeck again. I'm one of the education VPs, and so today we're going to talk about cast-ons and bind-offs. So, let's see if I can get this to work correctly. Turn on. Cast on, bind off. Don't forget to breathe, very important. This is thanks to my son. I was explaining to him that I was going to do this presentation on casting on and binding off, and I was explaining what it was, and he was just smiling at me. I'm like, what are you smiling at? And he goes, cast on, bind off. I'm like, oh. So, thanks to my son Kirby that he gets the credit for that. He's like, are you really going to give me credit? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give you credit. So, also giving the Karate Kid credit down here. You can go watch this actual video on YouTube. So, who knew there were so many ways to cast on and bind off? Apparently these ladies did, because Kat Cezi, I'm not sure I'm saying her name right, she has a book, 211 Ways, which is the one we have here. Leslie Ann Bester, she's got a book about 54 ways. There might be some cross stuff there. Patty Lyons teaches 3 classes. So there's a lot of ways to cast on and bind off. Some of them are a little scary. But is the long tail your go-to?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it your go-to because it was first in you were taught? Yeah.
The only one you do?
Me too. Yeah, long tail. Works for everything. Okay. So why is it even important casting on when you can't start to knit without it? So there's some things you can consider when you're choosing your cast-ons and your bind-offs. So the first one is function. What purpose do you have for the edge? What do you need it to do, right? Do you need it to stretch? Like in a sweater, you're pulling it over your neck. You need the edge to be a little bit stretchy. Sock cuffs, you need them to be stretchy but not too stretchy, right? You don't want them to wear out. Do you need it to be durable? Do you knit for children? You probably need it to be durable. Do you need it to be firm, like the edge of a pocket on a sweater, or if you're making a bag or a rug, anything like that, you need it to be durable. Do you need to be able to add stitches mid-project? So you're working on something and now you need to add stitches. Maybe that's the cast on you're looking for. Do you need the edges not to curl? That's another consideration you can have when you're casting on. Can you guys see over? I don't want to stand in anybody's way, so just let me know if I'm in anybody's way. Or if I'm talking too fast, please tell me because I do that too. How's it going to look? Is the cast on or the bind off going to be basically hidden, so it really doesn't matter what it looks like? Do you want it? It's going to be seen, so you want it to be pretty. You want it to stand out. Do you want the cast on and the bind off to look the same, so they can match? There are matching cast ons and binds off. Another thing that you can consider. How much time are you going to spend on it? Honestly, one of these little things I did here today, this was me. I will never do this cast on again in my life. Wow, it took me a long time. So, yes, how much time are you going to spend on it? Today, the examples I'm going to show you, or walk through with you, we have the chained cast on, the channel island cast on, which is the bane of my existence, the channel island one. German twisted cast on, decreased bind off, and frilled bind off. I was going to do 3 and 3, but I really ran out of time. So we just stuck with it 2. Okay, so the first one is the chain cast on. I'm going to send these around. I made these little samples so you guys can take a little closer look at them. This has an elastic edge with loops along the edge, and it's really similar to the standard bind off. Probably everybody does that. You knit 2, 1 over, knit the next one over. But you will need a crochet hook for this one. You don't have to estimate the tail, which is a good thing, but it's a little challenging if you're not used to using a crochet hook. I'm not skilled with a crochet hook, so this one was a little wonky. And then the matching bind off is the standard bind off. Again, they kind of look the same, so I'm going to send those around. You guys can look at them. There's actually 2 ways to do this, and I did the first way, so let's see if this works. I'll kind of narrow you through this. The volume is not great. So the first thing you're going to do is you need to have your crochet hook, and you're going to have it on the right side, and then you're going to put your needle over the yarn. So you have your crochet hook and then your needle, and then you're going to wrap the yarn around the crochet hook and around the needle, which is easy so far, right? And then you're going to take your hook and pull that loop through the yarn through the loop that you had on your crochet hook. And then you can give it a little bit of snug and tighten it up again, right? So you just keep doing that. You wrap around the needle and the crochet hook, and you pull the yarn through. It gets a little tight here with the loop that's on the crochet hook, so you may have to pull it out a little bit. This one, again, it kind of gave me a little bit of fits, but once I got used to it, it was okay. And you just keep doing that. Was there any questions on that one?
And what's the purpose of that one again? Or what would you scenario would you might make use of?
Yeah, for this one it is. Go It looks the same as the standard bind off.
Okay, got it.
And it's, you don't have to estimate the tail, which is nice, because you can just, do it. It's a little bit more elastic, right? It's got a little bit of elasticity in it.
It's also very similar to the Chinese waitress find off.
Okay.
Cast on.
Okay, which is the first one that was up there.
Susan,
Yeah,
I also used it for a provisional cast on.
okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Can use that for provisional then. So, the way that I set up these slides, and I will post these slides on the website under,
They'll be in the video.
they'll be in the video, but I will have these under, program materials too. So I gave you kind of the short version here, slip knot on the crochet hook, working yarn under the needle, then you wrap it around and you keep doing that. There are 2 ways to do it. I did this way from Knit Tips. The one from the Chili Dog was you had your crochet hook and your needle and you're doing this with the crochet hook. No, that's not me. So it was really challenging. So, but you by all means go for it. And this particular cast on has different names: chain edge cast on, bind off cast on, Japanese cast on, cast off cast on. Hey, that's similar to, that's right, I just noticed that, just backwards. All right. There are a lot of these have the same name, which is really interesting. And in the book, it's really cool because at the front they have a big chart that tells you, I probably should show you guys that. I'll show you that here real quick. This book is really nice because it has chart in the front. And I'll tell you these are the cast-ons and all the different purpose for the cast-on, and then the purpose for the bind-offs, and then there's a chart down here that matches cast-on to matching bind-off. So this is a good book for that. I'm not a really good picture learner, so I would read it, not understand it, and then go YouTube it. But I was really good for at least knowing what the examples are. Any questions on this particular cast-on? All right, we'll go to the next one. Channel Island cast on. This one, once I actually got the cast on, it wasn't too bad, but it's a little wonky. It's strong and stretchy, and it has this little row on the bottom of decorative beads, so it's a little pretty. You can do that. You can use it with garter stitch or with 1x1 rib. I did it with garter stitch, it was a little bit easier. It's similar to the long tail cast on, but it's slower, because you have to reset the yarn on your thumb each time. And what you end up doing is you cast on 2 stitches at a time. So every time you work the cast on, you're actually getting 2 stitches. And ultimately you have more tails to weave in. So you have, yeah, I don't like weaving in either. So I'm gonna send that around, you guys can take a look at that one. And so sort of the short version, you're gonna double your tail. Then you make your slip knot at that end where you don't have your double loop. And the videos that I saw, you mark the first stitch where your slip stitch is, because depending on how many stitches your pattern actually asks for, you're going to do something different with that original stitch. You're either going to knit each one individually because you actually have 2 stitches there, or you're going to knit them together. So you mark it so you don't forget about that. Then the yarn placement, it's very similar again to the long tail. You have the single strand in the back, but in the front you have the double, right? So let me go back to the picture here. What you've got is this, you have your slip knot, you have your single strand on this side, and then you've got your double strand on this side. So what you're gonna do, this will work. You might get an ad, hopefully not, good, okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that double strand, and you're going to wrap it around your thumb. So I'm going to actually go back one picture here. So you're going to start out just like with the long tail. You've got the yarn on your, between the yarn over your index finger and over your thumb. But instead of doing the long tail, you're going to take this double strand of yarn, go back again, and you're going to loop it around your thumb twice. So you're going to go once and then twice. The tension's a little difficult, actually, when you're trying to get that correct. Then you're going to pick up that outside, that other stitch again. So I'm going to show you, this is the actual real video, but I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the point where you need it. There you go. Thank you. All right, I need to go to 225. Fast forward this a little bit. All right. We'll actually turn off the light too. So she's wrapped it around her thumb. here. So you wrap it around your thumb, and then you're gonna pick up that other strand that's on the back. You're gonna go over that strand, right? You're gonna pull that. Then you're gonna go under the two that are on your thumb. And so that's where the tension, if it's too tight, it's really difficult to get underneath there. Then you're gonna go over that strand on the back again. And then you're gonna pull it through the two loops. You're gonna pull it through where you had those two loops. And then you're gonna take it out of your thumb and snug it up. So you actually cast on 2 stitches, right? You have the single yarn over and then the 2. Really slow. Really slow, you know? And honestly, unless you like the really pretty edge, you know, I don't, it's just really slow. And after I did it about 27 times, I got faster, you know, as I was trying to do my example. But it is kind of cool. It's just, you have, again, more tails to weave in, and let me get there, wait a little bit more. There, I'll show one more time. The challenge that I had, again, was keeping the tension on the thumb and then being able to reach around to the one on the back, because you're kind of like this. You're a little bit wonky when you're trying to go under the thumb and then over to that other one and then back. She's a little slow. Yeah. So again, not my favorite, but it's interesting, and it does give that nice little edge to it. Any questions on that one? I'm sending it around. You guys can take a look at that one. The next one is the German twisted cast on. We'll send that one around. It's elastic firm, and it doesn't curl. So the edge, this is one of the non-curling, non-flaring cast ons. It's similar to the long tail cast on slingshot method, if you guys have done that. It's good for hats, brioche, sock cuffs, and you need a little bit more yarn for this than you do for the regular long tail. So you need a little bit more yarn to be able to do this one. So for the German, I'll send this one around too. So for the German twisted cast on, you're going to start with the same setup for the long tail, right? You've got your yarn pulled down, you have your strands ready to go. But you're going to go under both strands on the left needle. You're going to go back between the loop, and then you're going to swing over to the other one. So it's like under, down, and swing. And it's kind of a fluid, kind of cool motion. It actually is fairly fast, but I'll show you the video. The tricky part, though, is after you swing over to that individual strand, you have to pull it back through. There's this tiny, tiny little window where you're going to pull that yarn through, and you'll see it in the video. That was the tricky part, because if that window's tiny, you're going to struggle to kind of get to it. Once you get the hang of it, you learn how to make the window a little bit bigger. But we'll watch the video on how to do this one, because this one's actually kind of cool. It's fairly as fast as the long tail cast on. I kind of like this one when I did it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to try to fast forward to where she is. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So you start, again, same as with you do long tail cast on, but you're going to go under both of those strands. Then you're going to go back through the two. Then you're going to swing over that outside one, and then there's that tiny, tiny little window where you're going to pull the yarn through. Right? You can kind of see that. She'll do it a few more times, but this one, again, it's actually kind of cool. It's kind of like a long tail cast on, gives you a little bit of a different look, and it is still an easy fluid motion. It's just catching that little window is the harder part. So she's going to.
If you have trouble with the little window, drop your thumb down and it makes it a big window.
Yeah.
I think it's very Hickman says a really good video.
Yeah,
she does.
Does she? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
will be on the website.
This one is from. I'm just going to go back real quick. Yeah, Andrea Mallon. Yeah. So there's that tiny little window, and then you're just going to tighten it up. So that one's pretty cool too. Send it around the. Oh, and this is just a regular long tail. I meant to send this around with it because this is the regular long tail. So this one kind of goes with the German one. You can kind of compare the two. I meant to send them around at the same time. All right, any questions on that one? All right, the decrease bind off. This is, again, I noticed that most of these are elastic. It was, I guess, the first one on the list, and I picked that one. This one, it doesn't involve lifting stitches over. So when you're binding off, you knit the 2 stitches, 1 stitch goes over. It doesn't do that. It's slightly more elastic than the standard bind off, and it's good for sock cuffs and neck bands and things like that. So I'm going to send this one around to the decrease bind off. This one, I don't have a video for because it's, well, there is a video, but I'm not going to show it to you because it's super easy. All you do is the first 2 stitches, you knit 2 through the back loop. Then you slip that stitch back onto your left needle, and then you knit through 2 through the back loop and move it back. That's all you do. It's like really simple. Knit 2 together through the back, slip it back, repeat it. Da, da, da. And then when you get to the last 2 stitches, you knit the 2 together so you have the single stitch on your needle, and then you pull it through just like you do regular bind off. You cut it, pull it through your loop and everything. So that one was pretty easy too. Any questions about the decrease bind off? Alrighty. The frilled bind off, this one is kind of pretty. So it's, you add extra stitches as you're binding off. So if you start with, 15 stitches, you're going to have more than 15 stitches when you bind off. There's one in between. And it's a little slower than the standard bind off because you are adding extra stitches. It's really stretchy. And it's good for lace if you want to block it really aggressively. And you can have it look like this. So this is the sample here. Or if you block it, you can give it a little bit of frill. And that's why it's called the frilled cast off or frilled bind off. Frilled bind off. There we go. So I'm going to send that one around too. And then there's a little closer look to it. For this one, you're going to knit the stitch, but not remove it from the left needle. And then you're going to bind off, let's see, you knit one, oh, I think I messed up this description. So we're going to skip the description because I think I messed it up. But it does help to count 1, 2, 3, 4 as you're doing it because there really are 4 steps. Because you do have to leave 1 stitch on the needle and you're going to come back and knit through that again. And in the middle of the example, I forgot to do that. So there's one stitch in there that's not the right stitch. But it does help to count 1, 2, 3, 4 when you're doing it. You can probably see it, right? The one that I messed up. There we go.
Is a way of taking the standard bind off and making a frilly edge, and it's not very frilly. Then I'm using my thumb to hold that loop on the needle because I don't want it to go anywhere. Right there.
Yeah. So it gives you a really nice frill at the end.
And if you block it by itself, then you're just doing it on like
So the last. Her yarn's prettier than my yarn, so you can see the frill a little bit better than the examples that I gave you. But I thought that one was kind of pretty too. And it's not too difficult, again, but definitely count because you will forget to leave that one on the other. So then, any questions on any of those cast-ons or bind-offs or anything? Okay. Well, a couple of examples that I've done. So I make these bears for the Mother Bear Project, and when you make the legs, you knit down the sweater and then you knit down to the point of the crotch, and then you have to make the 2 legs. So what you do is you're supposed to cast on 2 additional stitches at the crotch so that you can join them together and not have this gap when you're making the legs. I've been using the knitted cast on because that was really the only one I knew about how to get extra stitches in the middle of a project. The angle's a little fiddly, and the stitches just look untidy and bulky and not nice, and there was still a gap. So even though I was doing it, I still had to close up the gap. But I tried the loop cast on, and actually it's looking better. I was hoping to have it done to show you guys today, but I didn't get that far because I had to work on all this other stuff. But it looks a little more tidy. I like just doing a loop cast on to get those extra stitches. So I think I'll go with that one. So I changed my traditional cast on.
Have you tried the cable cast on for that?
I have not.
Once you learn, that's an easy one, that might work well with it.
Yeah.
Especially, like you're only cable casting on 2.
Right. Okay, I'll give that one a try too. Maybe I'll try that on the other leg because I still have to work the other leg. And I'll still try that. I'll do that. All right. And then the other thing, I have this book. It's called 50 Yards of Fun. And it's really cute. You just make a bunch of little creatures and toys and things like that. There's a book with all kinds of stuff in it. I made a couple of these things, but I wanted to make the hippo. And it required the Turkish cast on. Never heard of it. Watched a video, really liked it. It makes this nice little, what do I call it, seamless, smooth edge. And you can use it for like toe-up socks.
Right.
I do use it for toe-up.
It's actually really nice. So I'm like, you can check out my hippo. And check out the book too. I really liked. I had never done that cast on before. So.
And that's knitting?
I'm sorry. Knitting. Yep. And yeah, so it's amazing how many different types of cast-ons there are. I would venture to guess that 90% of your projects are going to use the same one over and over again, though. That's what I do anyway. But it was really kind of neat to see different ones, and thankfully, YouTube exists. Without YouTube, I would never know how to do any of this stuff. There are, let's see, I will have some additional links to all of these different kinds of cast-ons and bind-offs. I really thought this was going to go longer, so I think I talked fast. I'm not sure. We have a lot of time left. Do you guys have any questions?
If anybody wants a demonstration of the first 7 that were listed.
Oh yeah, we've got those. We can do demonstrations. I can do live demonstrations of the one that caused me pain, if you guys want to see it. But I think that's it. So thank you guys for listening. Appreciate it. And I will get all this posted and you guys will have it.